As the longest-running primetime sitcom ever, Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie are members of an ensemble cast that has been part of many of our lives for a quarter century. Joining us now for more on the influence of The Simpsons. In Sudbury, Ontario via Skype, Mike Comito, PhD candidate in the Department of History at McMaster University and a big wheel down at the Cracker Factory. And with us here in studio, Patrick McDonald, a Toronto lawyer. He brought his own mic. Adriana Alfano, a Master of Education from the University of Ottawa. She's from Hamilton, and she comes with a free Frogurt. Jeremy DeMello, business and political science student at the Ivey Business School at Western University, winner of the Montgomery Burns Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence. And, you know this was coming, Amanda Hug and Kiss LaRiviere, visual effects producer in Toronto. You, of course, can be part of this conversation. Just tweet us your favorite Simpsons moments using the hashtag AgendaTVO. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you on for this episode. Mike, good to have you up in Sudbury as well with us. Let's just, I have a terrible confession here. You ready? Right off the top. I've never seen a single episode of The Simpsons, ever.
Blasphemy.
I know, I deserve to be taken out back and shot or something. However, for people like me who are ignoramuses on this, we're going to have a little background. Sheldon, if you would, bring this up. The first episode, standalone, of The Simpsons aired December 17, 1989, 25 years ago today. Since then, 561 episodes later, and a feature-length film later, boy, are they part of the world's culture. In 2013, FXX, the specialty channel, bought The Simpsons syndication rights for $750 million. They have had their share of kudos, 31 Emmy Awards, 30 Annie Awards, that's excellence in animation, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and a Peabody Award. And of course, one of the things The Simpsons is most famous for are the cameos, 670 cameos over the years, including Michael Jackson, Bette Midler, Paul and Linda McCartney, Elizabeth Taylor, Ken Griffey Jr., Steve Allen, Buzz Aldrin, Stephen Hawking, Tony Blair, Gore Vidal, and the list goes on. Okay, this is one of those programs where I'm going to learn a lot from all of you because, as I suggested, I don't know anything about this. So, Mike, get us started here. Tell me why The Simpsons is so important to you.
Well, it's important to me because it's definitely the, as you mentioned, longest running sitcom. So for me, it's definitely the longest show that I remember growing up with. And it was really my first exposure to, to engage with some critical thinking. I think that's one of the mainstays of The Simpsons, although it's declined in the last little while, is just their commitment to engage in all sorts of cultural issues, from politics to religion, environmental issues as well. And I think that early on was really one of its strongest points, is that it really kind of engaged you beyond what you would think of a typical cartoon show, right? And I think that's why it's so important, is because it's much more than just simply a cartoon. It's one of the first shows to really kind of demonstrate that cartoons don't have to be caricatures. You can see that in this show, they're all very developed characters that we all have emotional connections with.
Adriana, The Simpsons are 25, and so are you.
So am I.
It's been on as long as you've been around.
Yep.
Why is it important to you?
Well, like you're saying, I definitely grew up with the show, and like Mike was just saying as well, it kind of served as, for me, an initiation to a lot of either political or cultural events, and kind of gave me that base. I kind of see the world in Simpsons terms through the way that history is filtered through The Simpsons.
You see the world in Simpsons terms?
I would say so.
I'm not sure what that means. What does that mean?
It's, there's a diagnosis for it, I'm sure.
All right, very good. Amanda, how about you?
Well, for me, I started watching, I think, when I was in my early teens, so I didn't grow up with The Simpsons, but I've been watching ever since, and I spend several hours a week watching it. And now that I have 2 kids, it's become a pretty big mainstay in our household. So they've become just as big a fan as I am.
Okay, how old are the kids?
10 and 6.
Are Bart and Lisa something like that as well?
Yeah, they're 8 and 10.
They're 8 and 10, so pretty close. And how did you start watching the show, or why did you start watching the show?
Well, I started watching it because my boyfriend at the time was into it, and needless to say, he's no longer in the picture, and The Simpsons still is in the picture, so.
Boyfriend gone, cartoon still around.
Exactly.
Okay. And you're happy with that trade?
I am happy with that
trade.
trade.
Just checking. Okay, Jeremy, how about for you? Why is it so important to you?
I gotta say, it's the lessons that they're able to teach on that show is, whether it's Homer staying loyal to Marge or Bart always eventually doing the right thing, you get a sense that The Simpsons, even though they're animated characters, they do their jobs, or they teach these lessons better than real life actors do on sitcoms these days that are much younger than The Simpsons. So I'd say it's the lesson, it's the humor that got me there, but it's the lessons that have kept me there.
Patrick, what keeps you there?
I think it's the fact that, like Adriana was saying, that it's almost like a prism that you can see the whole world through. That I don't think it takes sides so much as it just taught me, hey, here's how you be critical of the world around you, and don't trust anyone over 30, and lessons like that the show has given. That really, that it's all about just being an active participant in your world, while still kind of with having a keen eye towards don't necessarily accept everything at face value.
Mike, while I haven't seen the show, I'm certainly aware of, through osmosis, you hear about stuff. And I do remember when President George Bush the father said that this was a subversive show and he took a snipe at it. And there have been some sort of controversial moments over the 25 years. And it's risque in spots. And I wonder, why would your parents have even allowed you to watch it back in the day?
That's actually a great question, and I was on a road trip with my parents this past weekend to go visit my grandmother, and that's one of the questions that came up. I said, well, given some of the things we know about The Simpsons now, how was I ever allowed to watch it? And my parents had told me that early on I wasn't, and it was after they had a conversation with one of their friends at the time, and he had said that The Simpsons isn't really as bad as you perceive it to be. In fact, there's a lesson at the end of every episode. And so that's what really kind of swayed things for my parents. And when we first started watching it together, at the end of every episode, they would ask me, what was the lesson in this episode? And as long as I could keep telling them and reiterating what the lesson was that episode, I was able to keep watching it, right? And I think that's we've kind of already touched on this a little bit, but again, the whole idea of The Simpsons teaching lessons and looking at family values. Ultimately, how, at the end of the day, Bart always does the right thing, or again, teaching Homer's loyalty to Marge. Just no matter what happens, all the grief that the family members put each other through, at the end of the day, they always reaffirm their love for each other. And that's, I think, what kind of shines through for The Simpsons.
Anybody here who yeah, go ahead.
It's funny,
pick up on that.
just like I was 14-ish at the time, so I wasn't in a position where my parents could, fully regulate my television. However, my mother used to, walk by the living room and throw comments about, you shouldn't be watching that show. It's so offensive. It makes fun of stereotypes, making fun of religion and things like that. And I tried to explain to her, it's not only does it make fun of religion, it makes fun of all religions, all stereotypes, everything from the token white male. There's Hindu, there's Christianity, all that kind of stuff, and it finds the fun in all of that. And the funny thing is that I remember a few weeks after her sort of complaining about me watching it, I heard her behind me. She was walking past, and she was chuckling at something she saw on the screen. I went, oh, okay. And I never really heard much after that.
So she's on board now.
Well,
sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any difficulty watching the show?
A little.
Yeah.
When I was I had a TV in my bedroom, so I had kind of free reign. But my mom and dad really prejudged the show, and my dad fell in love with it when they were doing the Henry VIII episode. And Ned was a cardinal, and he said, King, you can't get divorced. And Homer says, well, yes, Cardinal Flanders, thank you for that. For your devotion, I'm going to canonize you. And then the next scene, you have Ned being shot out of a cannon. My mom, I tried to convert over. She refused to watch it. I'm like, why are you judging something you've never seen before? And so she watched one episode, and I was like, I have to choose this episode well. So I chose the one where Homer manages Lurleen Lumpkin, the country music star, who falls in love with him, and then Homer ends up staying faithful. And I'm like, that'll do it. That'll get her. It didn't get her.
No sale.
No sale.
Oh, well.
I had a funny one that I owned a pair of Bart Simpson pajamas when I was a kid, but I wasn't allowed to watch the show, which always seemed like a weird bit of cognitive dissonance on my parents' part.
That's nice. Let's, shall we play a clip here? Sheldon, shall we? Clip number 6. Roll tape.
The Simpsons have come a long way since an old drunk made humans out of his rabid characters to pay off his gambling debts. Who knows what adventures they'll have between now and the time the show becomes unprofitable.
Whose voice is that? Is that Phil Hartman? I thought that was him, yeah. Canadian. Okay, some people think The Simpsons haven't been good for a very long time, and that it's only on the air because it's still, unlike what Phil says, not unprofitable. It is still profitable. What do you think, Patrick? Is that true?
Yeah, it's true, but I think fans go really hard on it a lot of times, that that, I mean, when you've run over 600 episodes, there's only so many times you can come up with fresh ideas. It's a lot like criticizing Wayne Gretzky towards the end of his career. It's like, what have you done for me lately? It's, you know, it's kind of hard to judge the peak of someone's career against, you know, them just getting through the day-to-day later on. So I think the show is still good. It's just not the greatest show of all time anymore, which is fine.
You okay with that too?
I would say so. I tend to look at it as a different show now. I don't look at it with the same standard that I used to. And I mean, you can kind of question maybe what the producers are doing. They kind of didn't do the Seinfeld strategy to kind of leave while you're on top. They've just continued to evolve or devolve, depending on how you're looking at it.
Because it's profitable, right?
It's still profitable. It's still really popular. So.
See, I agree with you that they have evolved, and that's the thing, is that if you look at, I still watch The Simpsons faithfully every Sunday, and a lot of people I find have dropped off, and especially now that I have a PVR, I haven't missed an episode, and it's changed a lot. Like the format, I mean, it's generally still the same, just to, you know, tie it all in together, but they're dealing with a lot of different topics. Even the couch gags have changed in the way they treat the couch gags now are different. You know, they're bringing in artists, international artists.
Sorry, just again for the rookie here. The couch gag is at the beginning when they all run in and
when they all run in and they jump on the couch. So those have actually, you know, it's gone from them running in and jumping on the couch and something, you know, wacky happening to them making, you know, talking about pop culture, you know, references, getting artists, international artists to animate the couch gags now. Okay. You know, they're also dealing with a lot of different show topics, and they're maybe not going, you know, in such a way as to be humor all the time and quotable things all the time.
What time is it on Sunday night?
It's still on at 8.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you have little kids.
Yep.
How do you get a half an hour on your own to watch?
Well, my PVR is automatically set, but my husband knows that Sunday nights are my nights, so he will deal with the children and get them into bed while I'm watching. And now that my daughter's 10, she will often stay up with me and watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We asked each of you to pick a clip that you would sort of have represent as perhaps your favorite. Jeremy, we'll start with you. This is from Lisa's Substitute, which looks at the relationship between Lisa and her favorite teacher, and that favorite teacher's voice is played by? Yes? I think it's Dustin Hoffman.
It is? No. No, it was funny because I was reading the, I have the season 2 set, and I was reading the DVD book, and it didn't say Dustin Hoffman in it. So I was
credited as Sam Eddick.
That's what I was
Semitic, because he was a Jewish cowboy. Because the idea was that he wanted to be on the show but not be credited. Michael Jackson did the same thing, and then after that, the producer said, no more. If you're on it, you're going to be credited.
Well, okay, here's Lisa and Dustin Hoffman. Roll tape.
Mr. Bergstrom, I'm gonna miss you.
I'll tell you what, whenever you feel like you're alone and there's nobody you can rely on, this is all you need to know.
Thank you, Mr. Bergstrom.
All aboard!
So, I guess this is it. If you don't mind, I'll just run alongside the train as it speeds you from my life.
Goodbye, Lisa, honey. It'll be okay. Just read the note.
It's a wonderful clip. It's a wonderful lesson that I think we all struggle with throughout our lives, is just recognizing that internally you're good enough. And poorly, like, she's so talented, she's so smart, but she, you know, Homer is not an intellectual role model, and Marge does her best, but Lisa needs to know that she can rely on herself. And it even goes back to like what Mr. Rogers, you know, kids show used to say is, like, I like you just the way you are. That was what Mr. Bergstrom was trying to tell Lisa, that she's good just the way she is.
I don't want to put you on a psychiatrist's couch here or anything, but did you pick that because that's something that speaks to you personally?
It speaks to, I think it would speak to a lot of students personally, actually, because it's, I mean, especially at school, especially at business school, frankly, you're always comparing yourselves to other people because that's the nature of it. You know, you're trying to recruit for jobs and things like that. But it's a powerful lesson to know that at the end of the day, even if you didn't get the interview, even if the interview didn't go well, you know, you're still good enough, and you're not defined by your job.
You are still Jeremy DeMello.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. Patrick, here's your clip. This one's from Lisa's first word. Roll tape.
It's all part of our Krusty Burger Olympic sweepstakes. Just scratch off the name of the Olympic event on your game card, and if America wins a gold medal, you win a free Krusty Burger.
And cut.
Blah! I almost swallowed some of the juice. I'll be tasting that for weeks.
Great spot, Casey.
Put a sock in it, Preppy. How much are these free burgers gonna cost me?
Not to worry, Mr. K. We've rigged the cards. They're all in events that communists never lose.
I like.
This just came over the wires, Big K.
Uh-huh. Soviet boycott. U.S. unopposed in most events. How does this affect our giveaway?
Let's see. You personally stand to lose $44 million.
Oh!
Okay, what does this clip say to you, Patrick?
Well, just a bit of context. That actually happened to McDonald's during the 1984 Olympics, that they ran a competition where but they only printed events that the U.S. usually lost, and then the Soviets and the entire Eastern Bloc pulled out, and McDonald's took a bath. So why I like it is because it's a pretty obscure little story, and it shows to watch The Simpsons, you need to be pretty well read in current events and news, and a bit of history to understand the context around the 1984 Olympics and the politics of why the Soviets would have backed out. But then it's still funny because it's making fun of Krusty as a kind of like lowest common denominator entertainer. And I think that's what's great about the show, is that you've got kind of a highbrow at the one time that you have to be really knowledgeable and well-read to watch the show and get all the jokes, but you can still laugh at kind of some of the baser, slapstick, sleazier elements of a character like Krusty. And I think that's really unique about it, that it's kind of straddling those two lines.
Do you think people actually learn about current affairs by watching The Simpsons?
Yes.
I can
You do, eh?
attest to
Yeah.
that. Yes.
You can attest to that?
Absolutely.
Meaning you have?
Yes.
For example?
Well, even in kind of briefing myself for this program, I kept thinking of more and more, but one that really stands out is when they're trying to solve the mystery of who shot Mr. Burns, and it parallels. And they were talking about how it was just kind of a happy accident that it could mirror the O.J. Simpson trial, and they are the Simpsons, so they could they kind of say. In the 138th episode spectacular, Troy McClure says, well, for it's hard to explain without to people who don't speak Simpsons speak in that way. But they were saying for another solution to who the murder was, they would have to ignore all of the Simpsons DNA evidence found, and so they're obviously making a reference there to the O.J. Simpson trial. So.
And that's how you learned about the Simpson trial?
Well, that was part of it. That was part of my initiation there.
Good enough. Does the show, Mike, let me put this one to you, does the show actually have a political leaning to it?
I think the show, I think some of the producers and the writers have made no secret that they have a liberal lean to themselves. But again, the show spares no one. I think that no matter what, even if we could argue that the show has a liberal bias to it, that left or right, when it comes to the political satire in the show, again, nobody's spared. And we saw this earlier when I believe Adriana brought up it was Amanda about religion. And again, no matter what, it kind of takes a balanced approach and skewers all forms of religion, although it is a little harder on organized religion as a whole. But again, I think that regardless of the liberal bent that the show has, again, it does a pretty good job at kind of going after all sides or all the entire political spectrum.
Now, Jeremy, you're a big L and small L liberal, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so do you see that liberal bent in the show?
Oh, without question. Yep. It's there. They will skewer anyone. But I think what The Simpsons is great for is just evidence-based comedy, I guess you might be able to say. And one of the things that they've done that no other show, in my opinion, has been able to do is shape long-term thought about a certain issue, and the issue I refer to is nuclear power. Just watched the episode yesterday where they get a surprise visit at the nuclear power plant, and Mr. Burns, it doesn't go well, obviously, because you have gum that is patching cracks, you have coolant leaks, you have plutonium used as a paperweight, and of course you have Blinky the three-eyed fish. And so it's not their intention to skewer the nuclear lobby, but it is their intention to showcase a plant that's in disarray. So over time, though, sure, Chernobyl had a role, but in the long term, the reason people are somewhat distrusting about nuclear power is because they've seen on The Simpsons this plant is in terrible disrepair.
Having said that, Amanda, show's on Fox, right?
Yes.
It's on Fox. Okay, so Fox is a pretty conservative channel.
Yeah.
The family values aspect of things that you've all talked about here, I mean, that comes out in the program, right?
Oh, for sure it
So
does.
that's sort of consistent with Fox's political agenda, if I can put it that way?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that the reason that Fox, brought the show on to begin with is because they were looking for content, back in the day and stuff. And obviously it became profitable and they just kept, rolling with it. And, The Simpsons also will poke fun at Fox, all the time.
Yeah.
No pushback that you know of from Fox executives over the years?
I don't think so. I think it's in their best interest to, let them do what they want to do, financially and all that kind of stuff. But, I think that they do The Simpsons as much as it is a liberal show, and I'm not questioning that in any way, shape, or form. But, I think that they still try to show a bit more of the conservative side in terms of, family values, whether or not that family consists, of the nuclear family of the 2.5 kids and the mother and the father, but, just the idea of having, a loving family and, that's sort of what everyone sort of aspires to, whatever, that family would consist of.
They're sweet, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're a sweet family.
Yeah, as dysfunctional as they are, Marge and Homer love their kids. He may be strangling his son all the time, but,
All right, well, while you've got the floor, mom and pop art. That's your favorite, right? Here's Homer trying to build a barbecue. Roll tape.
There, that wasn't so hard, was it, honey?
Dad, I really need to rest my back.
Okay, sweetie. Daddy'll take over. Oh, yeah, that's a fine looking... Oh! Okay, no big deal. Ah! Stupid Lisa! You gotta build fast. Cement drawing! All right, let's see. English side ruined. Must use French instructions. Le grill? What the hell is that? Oh, come here, get. Come on, fit. You. Yeah, that's one fine-looking barbecue pit. Why doesn't mine look like that? Why must life be so hard? Why must I fail in every attempt at masonry?
How's your father's project coming along?
I think he's almost done. Yeah, he's done.
That's pretty dark. Why do you like that one so much?
Well, I think I liked it originally just because when he runs at it with the blood-curdling scream with the umbrella and it pops open, it's just, I can't not laugh at that clip. But one of the things, for me anyway, over the years of watching The Simpsons, what I get out of the episodes differs now compared to, when I was watching it as a teenager or, a 20-something kind of thing. And what I get out of that now is, in my life, I'm a working mother of two, and I'm faced with, Pinterest and, perfect parents with their perfect things put on Facebook. And, it's the frustration of why doesn't my cake look like this? Or why can't I, dress my children so that they look picture perfect?
So that line of his in there, why is life always so?
And
you relate to that.
Absolutely, and I quite often in my head, mostly because if I say it out loud, people think I'm crazy, but I will often yell, "Le grill, what the hell is that?" when I get frustrated.
I've actually used that clip, that scream in real life, to explain how I felt about postmodernism when I was studying that for political science. I would post on Facebook how after a full semester and after cramming for exams, how I still feel about postmodernism, and there's that clip.
Mike, do you ever walk into a room and, while we were just waiting for the program to start, you guys were all talking Simpsonese, none of which I understood, but you all were laughing like crazy and you understood it all. Do you do this, Mike, where you walk into a room, you start speaking Simpsonese, and people either are in on it or they're not?
Absolutely. Again, my friends, we all grew up with the show, although I didn't know my friends when we were watching the show in our prime time, but we're all Simpsons fans, so we have the Simpsons language. And even in my hometown of Sudbury, we all grew up in the south end of town, and across 20 minutes on the other side of town is known as New Sudbury. So it's different from the south end. But in the show, there's Springfield and Shelbyville. They're very similar looking on the surface, but they have a fierce rivalry. So the joke is now that I've left Springfield and now I live in Shelbyville with my wife. So that's always part of the joke, that I'm the only one that lives in Shelbyville now. And but other than that, we always throw in the quotes for whatever reason. There's oftentimes that I do need to kind of gauge the atmosphere in a room before I throw it a Simpsons line, because not everybody's going to get it, and sometimes you may come off as the weirdo in the room. But otherwise, it's usually a pretty. We usually share the connection, and most of the time the jokes are, everyone knows exactly where it's coming from.
Okay. Shelley, just confirming here, clip 8, is that where we're going next? Okay, let's roll that, please.
So long, dental plan. Dental plan.
Lisa needs braces.
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 Bullseye! Thanks a lot, Carl. Now I've lost my train of thought.
Dental plan.
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan.
Lisa needs braces.
If we give up our dental plan, I'll have to pay for Lisa's braces.
You were all laughing hysterically while this was being played. Is this a big clip for your generation or something? Yes, this is? Because?
It's just great, almost nonsensical humor, I guess, in a way, that they kind of perfected the art of repeating a joke until it's not funny and then funny again.
I actually saw a comic online recently where a guy walked into a party and he sort of thought to himself, I don't know anyone here. I have to find the cool people. And he just yells out, dental plan, and you see the people in the crowd going, Lisa needs braces. And he's like, there you go.
It's a touchstone.
Yes, absolutely.
A cry from a generation. That's how that works. Okay, I get it. Shall we go back to number 7 now, guys? Control room? Okay, let's do this. Here's clip 7. Homer's enemy. Roll tape.
You went into outer space. You.
Sure. You've never been? Would you like to see my Grammy Award?
No, I wouldn't. God, I've had to work hard every day of my life. And what do I have to show for it? This briefcase and this haircut. And what do you have to show for your lifetime of sloth and ignorance?
What?
Everything! A dream house, 2 cars, a beautiful wife, a son who owns a factory, fancy clothes, and lobsters for dinner. And do you deserve any of it? No!
What are you saying?
I'm saying you're what's wrong with America, Simpson. You coast through life, you do as little as possible, and you leech off decent, hard-working people, like me. If you lived in any other country in the world, you'd have starved to death long ago.
He's got you there, Dad.
Whose voice was that?
That's Bart.
No, not the last, the guy giving the speech.
No, it was Frank. It was Frank Welker.
Oh, there you go.
He was a guest voice. He did a lot of animal voices, like Apu the monkey and Aladdin, and a million other things.
Okay.
See, I for years thought that was Hank Azaria. So
Control room. Do you want to break the tie here? Which is it?
I believe Patrick.
Well, our producer Mark Brosens believes you.
Really?
He says it's Hank Azaria.
Okay, well you have to check the credits on that one, I guess.
Stacy Dunseith agrees. They watch the show. They would know.
Okay.
For what we've been talking about up until now, though, this is a loving family. This is a nice show. This is a funny. There's nothing funny or sort of nice about that. I mean, what's going on in that clip, Jeremy?
Well, you have to understand, Frank Grimes, or Grimy as his friends like to call him, had a very rough life. He had to work for everything he ever got. Even when he got his college diploma mailed to him, like some sort of eagle tried to snatch it away from him and he had to fight it out of the air. But Homer, by and large, he's not an average, he's an average person, but he's not. He's won a Grammy, he's been to outer space, he's worked for, an evil villain, not Mr. Burns, Hank Scorpio. Frank Grimes is saying, you don't work hard at all. You're asleep at the switch almost constantly. why do you get to have what you have? And it's kind of, I don't know, maybe for me it goes back to that issue of like comparing your lot in life to someone else's. Because actually if you look at Homer and how he met Marge, he had to propose to her because, well, I mean, they were in love, but she was pregnant. So he never had the best life either. And sure, he's had all these great experiences, but it wasn't the life he wanted, actually, at the end of it. There's one joke where he's like, they think Maggie's a genius, smarter than even Lisa. So he says, Marge, don't you understand? Our kids keep getting smarter, so we should have more kids so one can invent a time machine and we can go back and not have any kids. So I think Grimes is comparing his, top of the iceberg to Homer's top of the iceberg, but he doesn't see the 90% underneath.
Got it. Patrick, do you think The Simpsons has influenced how the world views America and Americans?
100%. I think that's one thing that clip shows too, is the degree to which the show criticizes Americans, but to people that aren't from the US that almost see it as the stereotype, like Homer, of the slovenly, lazy, fat American. I lived in the UK for a while, and people love the show over there, but there's a slightly different take on it where they see it more as tearing into America rather than finding what's good in it. And Homer is kind of at the same time the paragon of that, but people still love him. I mean, I think it's a really ironic thing that this show is one of America's biggest cultural exports. It's syndicated in dozens of countries. You can watch it in the Middle East, where Homer drinks soda instead of beer, and you can watch it in French. I mean, it's certainly had a big influence, probably for better and for worse, on how people see Americans internationally.
You lived in the States for a while?
Yeah, I grew up there as well.
Where?
All over in the Midwest. I lived in New England for a bit, and even there, people still love the show because they see something of themselves in it as well. So I think that's one thing that's great about it, is you can enjoy the show on so many levels, and it can be making fun of you without realizing it as well.
Now, you lived in New England? Mm-hmm. The Springfield, in the show. Is it Springfield, Massachusetts? Is that where they live?
No, it's in Oregon, I believe.
Oh, did they reveal where it is?
They did reveal it. It was not too long ago. Yeah. I remember reading an article about it, that it's important. It's in Oregon.
In Oregon?
Yeah.
Because I thought that part of the shtick was that it's Springfield, but you don't know where Springfield is.
For years and years. And then I think it was Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, that did reveal it eventually.
Well, even on the Simpsons Family Guy crossover, which just happened, Stewie asked Brian, "Oh, Springfield. Oh, in what state?" And Brian goes, "I can't imagine we're allowed to say."
It's funny, actually. I did live in Springfield when I lived in the U.S.
Springfield, Massachusetts?
Springfield, Vermont.
Vermont, okay.
So when we first moved there, that was the running joke with all our friends back in Canada was, "Oh, you're moving to see Homer Simpson." And 20 years later, the Springfield, Vermont was actually chosen from dozens of Springfields to host the premiere of the Simpsons movie. And then in true Simpsons fashion, they hosted the premiere, and then the week later, the theater burnt down. I'm not making that up.
You are not making that up.
Yeah.
Okay. Adriana, you ready to go here?
Sure.
This is your clip
from
Mother Simpson. Okay, Sheldon, roll tape, please.
Must a man walk down before you can call him a man?
7.
No, Dad, it's a rhetorical question.
Rhetorically. 8.
Dad, do you even know what rhetorical means?
Do I know what rhetorical means?
That's good.
So
why'd you pick that clip?
I picked that clip because it's actually a really tender episode, because Homer's mother has been out of his life for 27 years, and she just kind of shows up. So we see a really kind of innocent and sort of naive side of Homer, because he's really excited about this woman, but Marge kind of cautions him, maybe you shouldn't be so excited about this woman who left you for all this time. And this clip specifically, I think it's a sweet moment. Lisa also has a great rapport with Homer's mother, and because that kind of, I was reading once that they were saying this episode allowed them to kind of fill in some gaps and show that this is where Lisa gets her intelligence from, because Homer's mother was a radical in the 60s and a critical thinker, and then just Homer's loud irony at the end to me is just perfect. Like in your face, do I know what rhetorical means? I just think it really exemplifies what I find really charming in him as a character.
Do you ever wonder, I mean, Homer's dumb, and Marge is not, but she's not a rocket scientist either. Do you ever wonder over the years where Lisa got her brains before you saw that episode?
I hadn't really thought about it too much, but I kind of just thought, sometimes, you know, we talk about nurture and nature, and sometimes kids just come out how they come out, and there's not a lot of explanation
No explanation
to it.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, up to Sudbury we go. This is from Marge Be Not Proud. Roll tape, please.
Oh, hey, that's Mom. She's happy again. You guys made a snowman family?
Check it out, boy. It's like looking into a living snow mirror.
Why didn't you wait for me?
I didn't think you'd mind. I figured you were getting a little too old for this. But you can still make one. There's some snow left under the car.
Aw. Mike, why'd you pick that one?
Well, for starters, just to put it in context, this is, since it's the holiday season, this was the Simpsons' first, I guess, attempt to do a Christmas episode since the pilot episode in 1989. And so that episode would have aired 19 years to the day. So again, Christmas aside, the reason why I picked it is because, as a whole, if you watch the entire episode, it's a very touching and moving episode, as you can see with that one scene where Bart comes home and he's left out and he builds this pathetic snowman, and the music really just kind of hits at the anguish that Bart's feeling. And the reason why he's feeling this is because he had been caught shoplifting earlier in the episode, and to him he feels like he's lost the love of his mother. And Marge herself is also just questioning her parenting methods up to this point because she feels as though she's done something wrong. So I think it's just a really good look at an honest relationship between mother and son, and, you know, just that general feeling as a child growing up where, you know, the worst thing in the world is not when your parents are mad at you, but it's that feeling that you've disappointed your parents. And you really see that on display throughout the episode. And again, this is just part of the whole, you know, The Simpsons is really good at creating empathy in the, you know, I think in probably the first, 1 to 10 seasons, where that's why the episode is so moving, is because you can really relate to Bart, not only as your experience as a child, but even as later as life, as become parents, you can relate to the stuff that Marge is going through, the disappointment, her second guessing some of her parenting methods. Right? So I think that you need to watch the episode in its entirety, but again, that's just a sample of some of the touching moments that we see in that episode.
I am getting the distinct impression, the longer I talk to you folks, that this program is very autobiographical for all of you. You are seeing, Amanda, are you seeing aspects of your own childhood, your own parenting, your own whatever, your own relationship with other people that come out in this program, and therefore it speaks to you?
Oh, absolutely. Like that episode in particular speaks to me a lot. You know, look, I have young kids who are growing up, and there's another episode that's a bit more recent where, Lisa, she's a bit of an outsider, she's a bit of a brainiac, and not a teacher's pet, but close to it, and so she doesn't have a lot of friends. And there's an episode where Marge actually pays a small child to be Lisa's friend, and when Lisa discovers that, she's very hurt and upset, and actually, gets very angry at her mother for it, and causes Marge to actually start crying. And so,
don't tell me your parents did that to you.
No, no, but I mean, it's just the interaction between daughter and mother that, not that I would pay to have someone be friends with my children, but I worry, about, when your children are actually old enough to actually start getting mad at you and being upset with what you've, your actions and things like that they may not agree with, and when they start having opinions and you don't want to hurt them, so it's, I look at stuff like that, and not that I'm using Marge as a parenting
model,
but, you worry about stuff like that, coming up, and
you don't have the hair for it. Your hair is all wrong.
I don't use enough hairspray.
Yeah, exactly. We should just sort of let a little bit of a cat out of the bag here. One of the reasons that you all got invited to participate in this program is that our producer Mark Brosen sort of put a call out to Simpson fans, and then set up a website, asked a bunch of questions, and you all made videos to explain why you love The Simpsons, why it was important to you, and so on. And I have to confess, one of the things, Jeremy, that you said that really stuck with me was in one of your videos. You said, The Simpsons doesn't always make me laugh, but it always makes me happy, which is a very interesting distinction. Go into that a little bit, if you would.
Well, you can watch The Simpsons, and I mean, a lot of people here have said, seasons 1 to 10 were great, and then everything after is like gravy or maybe not so great. I don't think that. I mean, you can watch a show and laugh, but does it make you think? How does it make you feel? Because there are some comedians even out there, probably not going to name names, but you can laugh at them, but then you forget about them the next day. Then you have other comedians like George Carlin or Louis C.K. who make you think. Now, George Carlin can never be accused of making anyone happy, but but The Simpsons, even yesterday, I was just watching the episode with Burns runs for governor and loses because Marge serves him Blinky the Three-Eyed Fish, and he refuses to eat it. And he says, I will devote the rest of my days to making sure your dreams, Homer's dreams, don't come true. And Homer goes, Marge, please make it better. So she goes, homie, when a man's dreams include seconds on dessert, occasional snuggling, and sleeping until noon on weekends, no one man can take that away, which is brilliant. You're smiling even now.
So sweet.
Right.
That's
so
a beautiful line.
You can watch it and you don't have to laugh, but there are so few other shows. If I watch an episode of something on CBS, for example, on these days, I might think, oh, I didn't laugh, and that was a waste of time. But if I watch an episode of The Simpsons on Sundays, even now, it's not a waste of time. It was time well spent because I'm happy.
Time well spent. That's somebody's line.
Well, it was
somebody's catch line. Whose is that?
It used to be Comedy Network had Time Well Wasted. So
yeah. I think maybe PBS had that.
Wasn't it A&E or
Yeah,
PBS,
A&E. Maybe you're
A&E.
right. One of those two. Yeah, time well spent. Before again we went on the air here, the 4 and 5 of you, Mike, including you as well, even by long distance, were talking to each other in Simpsonese. And I wonder if we could just sort of replicate some of that conversation here. How does that happen, where you just start talking Simpsonese and people who haven't watched the show won't have a clue what you're saying, but you all got it?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Well, I came in later, so I was asking, I kind of joined the conversation late. So as soon as makeup was finished, I'm like, so guys, Simpsons trivia? And they go, yeah, we're all okay, we're all pretty good. So I say, okay, Lisa's middle name, because that's I've always wanted to do Simpsons trivia in real life, but I've never gotten to try it on anyone just because people aren't that good. And then like, oh, you know The Simpsons really well. He's a nerd. Leave him alone. But Patrick, he's like, no, I don't know that one, but he hit me with a couple that I didn't know, which is, it's been years since that happened. So
because you're the master. You really know it all.
You know what? It's funny you call it Simpsonese because at least I'm 21, so few people reference it I'm in 4th year. Not many people reference it anymore. So it's almost like you stop speaking a language that you're fluent in. You lose it a little bit. So
well, if you look at the bottom of the screen right there, it says embiggening our language. Now you guys obviously know what that, you're all laughing, you know what that means.
It's a perfectly cromulent word.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
They're both in the dictionary now. Yeah, so it's a joke that it's a fake word, and they respond by making another fake word, cromulent, meaning I think legitimate or real. And I think those are both in the Oxford.
So what does embiggening mean?
Oh, it means like
enlarging.
Yes. What is it?
A noble spirit
embiggens the smallest man.
So
Which is
Springfield.
The founder of Springfield. That's a plate that's on a statue of him in Springfield. Yeah, but it's actually that one of the teachers at Bart and Lisa's school says that before moving to Springfield, she'd never heard the word embiggens before. And then another teacher responds, oh, it's a perfectly cromulent word. So it's kind of,
and that's why Springfield is America's 436th fastest growing city. Watch out, Utica.
You didn't just make that up, did you?
Nope.
That's a line from the show. See, I'm catching on here. In this world where everybody is increasingly atomized and we're all in our own silos and we have a relationship with our computer screens and oftentimes not much else. Mike Comito, to you on this one. Is it important to have a kind of a community where all of you Simpsons people can talk to each other in a language that you all understand?
I think it's great. And I talked to your producer Mark about this prior to the show, and we just talked about how in this age it is kind of baffling that we still have this community network centered around the show where we can kind of freely flow into this dialogue where maybe not everyone in a conversation might get it, but those of us that have grown up watching The Simpsons and loving The Simpsons really get it. And even Mark and I, when we exchanged some emails, we were kind of throwing around lines to one another, right? And again, I could hear, although it was email, I knew that he was laughing. And the same thing with when I'd asked him for my bio on the show, I said that instead of PhD candidate, do you think it would be all right if if I said I was a PhD candidate at Bovine University. And Mark said to me, he said, well, McMaster's a prestigious university. You shouldn't go any lower than Gudger College, which again, is another fictitious secondary school in The Simpsons, which again, it's just, I had a lot of fun really kind of getting prepped for the show, talking with Mark, and again, talking with the panelists today, because again, yeah, I really see us all connecting through this Simpsonese, this Simpson language that we all apparently still share, so it's great.
Okay, here's a key question. Simpsons or Family Guy?
Simpsons.
Simpsons.
Without question.
100%. Not a question.
I don't even know how you can say that. I don't even know how you can say that.
I'm a fan of both, and I religiously watch both, and I have DVDs, you know, all the DVDs that you can buy for either one of them. But if I had to give up one, I would give up Family Guy.
How can you say that?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I'm being slightly provocative here, but Family Guy is hysterical.
Oh,
it's a great show.
Hysterical show. It's a great show. It's really well written, and I'm a huge fan of Seth MacFarlane, like a huge fan. But I mean, part of it I'm sure is nostalgia for me with The Simpsons, but that is the one that I worry about seeing on Sundays, more so than Family Guy. Like, and I couldn't even really give you a reason why. It's just that's the way I feel, I guess.
Well, Steve, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh.
Don't make me choose between my children. You can't do that.
But it's a similar thing.
Yeah.
So you can love them both.
You can, and they're both so much better than that Sarah Plain and Tall. That's a Simpsons show.
See again.
Yeah.
Right over my head on that one.
I gotta say, Family Guy honestly makes me laugh more, but Simpsons makes me think more. Family Guy has to, in order to keep being funny, Family Guy has to keep crossing lines. Simpsons, you know, they hardly swear in The Simpsons. It's the juvenile swear words, and maybe that's just how our society's progressed. But Family Guy has to keep pushing the boundaries. The Simpsons doesn't have to do that.
You watch Family Guy?
I watch here and there. I have a favorite episode of Family Guy. I think it's one of my trivia questions, you know, name a celebrity who's done guest voices on both, and James Woods, but...
You didn't even give us a chance to answer that, did you? Because you wanted to prove to us that you knew the answer.
Well, it's not a trivia show. It's not Reach for the Top. But I think with Family Guy, it's come to that point where they criticize the family dynamic so much that when they try and have a tender moment, you know, they're awful to Meg 99.9% of the time. You can't have a moment where Peter's suddenly being a good dad to her because it contradicts everything else. Homer's never awful to Lisa. He might be, I mean, yes, strangling your child is awful, but, it's a cartoon, and he's a good dad to Bart. At the end, he will fight for Bart, and he will fight for Lisa.
How about you, Adriana?
I'm going to be a little bit of an odd man out in saying that I'm not a big fan of Family Guy, and I feel that The Simpsons has kind of moved in the same direction of Family Guy in recent times, and that's also kind of why my interest in recent episodes of The Simpsons have dropped off. And I just feel it's a different style of humor. And like we were saying, you know, you can't compare the peak of someone's career to the end. I think they're following trends in that way to go in line with the popularity of Family Guy. But for me, it's just, I find it's more in your face. It's a lot less subtle. It's more, for lack of a better word, crude, and it's the kind of, even if I can see the humor in it, it's still, I find it a little more abrasive, let's say.
Probably fair to say there's no Family Guy without The Simpsons, right? They were the trailblazers.
And they were well aware of it, I think, too.
Yeah.
Well, they brought that up when they finally did the crossover between Family Guy and The Simpsons.
Now, does that count? I saw that episode because I like Family Guy.
Yeah,
does that count as a Simpsons episode?
No,
it was written by Family Guy writers.
Oh, okay.
They brought in Simpsons writers who were consultants on the show, and it was a Family Guy episode. So that was one episode that I did not let my kids watch.
Because you knew it'd be too...
Yeah, it would be a bit too risque.
Racy.
Yeah, so, but as both a Simpsons and Family Guy fan, I was really satisfied with the way they handled it. Like, I felt that Family Guy, you know, paid homage to The Simpsons the way they should have, and they, you know, and a lot of the writing style, they catered to them, as well as sort of keeping true with Family Guy and in the fact that it was a Family Guy episode.
There is stuff, Patrick, you can do, presumably, in cartoons, like strangle your child, that you can't do in real life. So they get away with a lot of stuff, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, the characters never age, too, so it gives you a lot of freedom. I mean, they had that one joke one time where Bart said, I feel like I've been wearing the same clothes day in, day out for the past 15 years, which he has.
Who does Bart's voice?
Nancy Cartwright.
Nancy Cartwright, yeah.
A woman does Bart's voice.
Yes.
Bart is a young boy, but his voice is done by a woman.
Yes.
Can somebody explain that to me? What's the, as Jerry Seinfeld would say, what's the deal with that exactly?
It's just more, it's a higher pitch.
Yeah.
A lot of the little boys on the show are mostly voiced by women.
Yeah. Huh.
They can hit that register better, and for whatever reason, I remember reading that Nancy Cartwright thought that she figured out Bart's laugh before she figured out the rest of his character, because it sounded like such a little, like, 10-year-old Hellraiser's laugh.
Yes. It is a great laugh, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, they brought that out, or they kind of poked fun at that when Homer, when they wrote the Poochie episode, where Homer was recording the VO for a cartoon character for the Itchy and Scratchy show, and when he came in and he met the person who did the Itchy and Scratchy voices, and he said, "Well, you're a lady," and she's like, "Well, yeah." So
got it. Now let's. Speaking of gender issues here, that call that we put out. You know where I'm going with this. The call we put out to have people participate in this program. There was an overwhelming response of people who wanted to be on to talk about The Simpsons. However, more than 85% of the people who responded were male. We got very little pickup from the female audience. Is this a show, Mike, let me put this to you first, is this a show that you think is essentially directed towards a male audience?
I don't think so at all. I think that, maybe in more recent years, it's definitely kind of focused more on, more of the more outlandish characters such as Homer predominantly. But I think early on, and even until now, I think it appeals to everybody. And again, you see that throughout the episode that, with the things that go on with the family, you almost get a take as to how it affects every single family member. So that includes Marge, it includes Lisa. To some extent, it would include Maggie, the baby. So I don't think necessarily that it's directed towards a male-only audience or predominantly male, but I think that maybe for some reason it gets skewed towards the male viewers, at least in the case of the submission. Just in terms of my own personal experience, my wife has never watched an episode of The Simpsons. The first one that I was able to convince her to watch was the episode I selected that clip from. And again, she kind of came around on it because of this, of the lessons at the end of the episode, or the touching moments that Marge had shared with Bart. And so, but again, I couldn't say as to why there might be a gender gap. I know that my wife didn't watch any of the episodes because she simply thought they were unintelligent or boring to her. But again, I think I'm slowly wearing her down, and maybe I'll get to watch a few Christmas episodes this holiday season of The Simpsons.
Amanda, is this a macho show? Mostly aimed at men?
I don't think it is, and Adrian and I were having a whole conversation about this, being women that enjoy The Simpsons. Now, for me personally, I don't think it's directed towards women. However, I think because it's a cartoon, because, the leading character is a buffoon, that women don't have any interest to actually start watching it, and it's unless you start watching a show, how are you going to really know whether or not it's any good? And for me personally, I don't know a ton of women at all who enjoy watching The Simpsons, so I'm kind of a bit alone in that sense. But Adriana was saying that she has several friends.
Yeah, a number of my friends actually,
female friends.
Yeah, we've gone to Simpsons trivia nights together and that kind of thing. And so I think in talking to your producer about this, I was thinking it might have something to do with kind of a lack of obvious sentimentality, where there's sentimentality there, and we've been talking about that, but it's not kind of the main bent of the show. So it can kind of seem kind of mean, but if you really look under the surface, you're seeing that it's critical thinking. It's not being mean, but I can understand why it doesn't necessarily appeal to everyone.
Gotcha. We got about a minute and a half left here. The hour has just flown by. This show's been picked up, right? It's coming back next year.
Yeah.
So how does this show eventually end?
God, I have no idea.
I have a theory on this one.
Go.
It is going to be the most watched episode of television of all time, ever. Just because it's going to be one of those moments where people who have people who've fallen off the bandwagon, but they're going to come back, because The Simpsons engenders that type of loyalty.
Okay, but what's going to happen in the episode?
Well,
do they have to end the story somehow?
I think they might do like a future episode, because they've done that a couple times. Yeah. Lisa ends up being president, and Bart says, "Oh, it's some government job," and but I think they would do a future episode, if anything.
I think they are gonna. I don't think they actually have to end it. I think, like I was saying earlier, that one of the great things about the show is that they never get any older. They all keep doing the same thing, and I think it would be really weird if they put some sort of bow on it. I think it's going to end with a very kind of quintessential episode that's really going to focus on a lot of the themes we were talking about here today, like the importance of family, community, distrusting the police.
For my generation, it was MASH, and that's the biggest single half-hour sitcom, you know, the finale. But that show ended because the Korean War ended. I mean, they had an ending. There's no real built-in ending here, is there?
I honestly cannot imagine it not being on. Like, I can't.
Well,
so
thanks to syndication, it always will be.
Exactly.
Thank goodness.
It's good of all of you Simpson maniacs to join us on the agenda tonight. Thanks so much. Mike Comito, good to have you on the line from Sudbury, Ontario. Amanda Patrick, Adriana, Jeremy, great to have you in our studio here in Toronto.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. No!
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.